Today on DNVR Buffs Live, Coach Prime is back at practice, just like he said, right after surgery. Shout out to Coach for pulling through and just being a warrior. We're going to talk a lot about recruiting, the offensive line, defensive line, and the new transfer portal changes coming this next season. Let's go.
Buff Nation Squad
Coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. It's DNVR Buffs Live. And it's Scotty and I. You're stuck with us for the next 2 weeks, basically.
at least, and you better like it.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? Cool. It is hump day, as somebody mentioned in the chat. Middle of a new week, man. Just a few days away from Iowa State. A big opportunity for this Colorado football program to knock off a top 25 team for the first time in over 2 years. Coach Prime is back at practice, man. What a warrior. No days off was made for men like Coach Prime. Glad to see him. It's cool to see all the content that's come out from, Bucky and whatnot. Kind of some of the behind the scenes stuff. So that's been awesome to see, and nothing more awesome to see Coach Prime back out there on practice today after undergoing a whole 4-hour procedure just yesterday.
I know.
That turnaround is crazy. He is truly one of one.
One of one, and RK mentioned it yesterday. He's personifying like the warrior spirit, really. I mean, to go through 16 surgeries in 3 years?
Yeah, man.
Maybe even longer, going back to Jackson that first year with the foot and everything.
Right.
You have to be cut from a different cloth to keep on just getting up off the mat every time that something tries to knock you down. So shout out to Coach.
And to keep a positive mindset about it. Don't let it, or at least to the public's eye, let it weigh you down. Like, he's still cracking jokes to us yesterday. He's in the hospital bed with a hospital gown on, cracking jokes, making everybody laugh.
He was hilarious.
And while we're talking about this, dude, did you see the clip of Shiloh calling him?
Yes, dude.
Bro, this man Shiloh is absolutely hilarious, dog. He said, "You got too much money to having all these surgeries, Pops." He told me, "What?" Coach Ross told me, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? Like, what, I'm supposed to just pay the surgery to stop? Give me $5 million. He said he'll never have to do it again. He said, "Give me $5 million, and you'll stay alive." That boy Shiloh.
Give me
is
$5 and you'll stay alive.
Right. That boy Shiloh is too funny, dog.
Yeah, shout out to Coach. That was big time. We hope he's doing all right. I mean, clearly he's back at practice. Shout out Dalvin. He put out the video earlier today, and literally looks like he never even left Boulder, honestly.
Yep, facts.
So shout out to Coach. He's back to, shifting it to football. Let's do the same then.
Let's get it.
Let's talk about this offensive line. Again, the saving grace of this program, of this team right now. The running game, obviously, much improved. We'll get to the pass protection and what they've done in the pass game. But, clearly, it's just one of the biggest offensive lines in football. We talked about that a lot this offseason. That's delivering. You're moving a lot of people in the run game. And it's just, again, when we talk about this team and what happened to Iowa State from Cincinnati on Saturday, that's how you win this football game. You got to run the ball. I think they had, 250 plus put on Iowa State, Cincinnati
Something
did.
like that.
And it was just from the get-go. Obviously, the quarterback, Sorsby, was involved in that too. But, they were just 6, 7, 8, 15, running off clips of yardage off them in the run game.
No doubt about it. That's the way. That's the recipe. And we've been talking about that. It seems like we've spent a couple of weeks talking about that being the recipe, and that needing to be the plan of attack for this Colorado football offense. But it's become even more clear now, I think, the last couple of weeks when that's just the strength of this team. When you watch them out there on Saturdays, like when they're at their best, it's them running the football and behind that offensive line. And at this point, it doesn't even matter who's carrying the football, right? Whether it's Michael Welch, whether it was DeKalen early in the season or Simeon early in the season or Dallin here this past weekend or even Draylon a couple weeks ago and the Wildcatter in the traditional sense at running back. All these guys have been productive. And I think Dallin said it perfectly yesterday when he was talking about the offensive line. He was like, they get in movement up front. They are displacing folks off the point of attack, off the line of scrimmage. And that speaks to, obviously, their sheer size that this Colorado offensive line has, which is featured by literally one of the best offensive linemen in college football, in my opinion, the best tackle in college football. But the rest of these guys, man, Zarin McGill has been awesome at center. I saw something yesterday. This is from Pro Football, PFSN. I don't even know what that stands for. What's PFSN stand for? Cam Miller. He does a lot of good stuff.
I don't know.
But highest graded Big 12 offensive lineman. This is not Pro Football Focus. This is kind of a similar ranking system. Sure. But highest graded Big 12 offensive lineman this season, Zarin McGill is 6th overall amongst all offensive linemen in the conference with an 85.9 grade according to their metrics. He's been awesome. Over 200 pass blocking snaps for Zarin McGill this season. Second on the team, and talking about PFF now, on pass blocking grade. No penalties. Only 2 pressures allowed all season. No sacks allowed all season. And center was obviously a bit of a contentious position last year, obviously with Hank Zeliskit starting the year and then them going to Cash Cleveland, who, even though he was a freshman All-American by a couple outlets, he struggled at times, which was to be expected for kind of an undersized true freshman. But this center position has been locked down. And when you already know the left tackle position has been locked down, you know, you add the 2 guards. Xavier Hill has been great. Beside Chrysler has been really good in spurts. And even Larry Johnson has had moments, good and bad, but the sum of the parts for this offensive line up front has been the strength of this team, certainly of the offense.
Yeah, and something else we don't talk about. I mean, shout out Gunnar White, the job that he's done for being here the last 2 seasons, for seeing really, you know, at times a disaster of an offensive line out there. And they had no one else to go to. And unfortunately, Shedeur just, you know, took a beating sometimes. I'm sure he took that personally, even though he wasn't the offensive line coach those 2 seasons. And he knew exactly what needed to be fixed. So shout out to Coach Gunnar, shout out to Coach George, and to Coach Dre as well. I mean, the 3-headed monster has worked. I mean, there were some concerns about that too coming into the season, right? Too many cooks in the kitchen, all this stuff. Well, I don't think you can complain about that now when the results are the results at this point. You mentioned the PFSN stuff. Yeah. We talked about it on Monday. Jordan Seaton, another elite pass blocking grade. And when it comes to pass blocking, this team is really emerging as one of, if not the best in the country. Again, this is from PFSN, Cam Miller. On time to pressure allowed, by far now, Colorado is in first place. 4.5 seconds they're giving quarterbacks. The next closest is Arizona State, 4.3 seconds. 0.2 of the second that's a lifetime. That's a release.
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally giving you an extra opportunity to throw the football when you have 0.2 like that.
Yeah.
Clearly, you know, this is, you know, partly Jordan Seaton, but again, we've talked about fastest way to the quarterback is straight through, right through the center and guards. And Colorado really solidified those positions beautifully with transfers too. Something they said they couldn't do. So shout out to this offensive line, man. I mean, the team is what it is right now, but this offensive line is truly giving them a chance to win every single week.
And those stats make me think about something that Coach Prime said to Caden during the game in the clip that has recently come out that a lot of people have seen. We alluded to it yesterday, where Coach Prime is telling Caden on Saturday during the game, you got time.
Yeah.
You got time. He's not back there running for his life, Caden Salter is, by any means. Like, he has time to go through his progressions, to extend plays, looking to pass, and also taking off to run. And it just makes you think, man, with an improved offensive line, with we don't even got to say an improved offensive line anymore. This is a good offensive line.
Yes.
A strong running game and receivers that we all think are ultra talented. It's a shame that this offense is only averaging about 21 points a game. I'm going to double check that to be sure, but yeah, they're 25 points a game, 14th in the Big 12. Only West Virginia and Oklahoma State are worse.
That's good enough.
It's just not good enough. They got to be better. The quarterback position has to be better. The offensive play caller has to be better. But yeah, man, that's tough. But this offensive line, man, and somebody mentioned it too. Who's leaving? Who is graduating from the offensive line after this year? A lot of these guys are in their final year of eligibility.
Yep.
Obviously, Tyler Brown, Phillip Houston, Kareem Harden, who are kind of your depth pieces right there. McGill is out of here. Zai, Xavier, and Cooper Lovelace, and Aki Ogunbiyi are all in their final year of eligibility. But the guys returning, right? You got Larry Johnson back. You got Andre Roy back. Obviously, Seaton back. You got Yo-Yo back. Mana is also has another year of eligibility back, in addition to your two true freshmen in Carday and Chauncey. So there's some youth here that's coming back. And honestly, in the past, you would say that you don't want to rely on offensive lineman transfers, but based on this past year, Coach Gunner and Coach George and Coach Gerard might have figured something out in terms of identifying the type of players that fit this offense and fit this scheme, because they just did it this year.
Right. And I mean, after this year, you can't say they built an offensive line through the portal anymore, though. Like, I'd assume Chauncey's going to be good to go next year.
Me too.
As a starter, right?
Me too.
You're bringing in guys like Xavier Payne. You have some recruits coming in on the offensive line as well. Yep. So the depth and the top end talent of this offensive line is truly being built how it should be built in college football. And that's not to say, they won't bring in a few transfers here and there to plug some holes. Like, everyone does that. That's fine. But you no longer need 4 offensive linemen, starting offensive linemen, or 3 starting offensive linemen out of every single cycle, which is going to be a relief. And it's just going to make everything move a lot more smoother. Real quick, one last thing, though, on this average time to pressure allowed, where Colorado's far and away. I think that, it's important to add the quarterback element of this stat, too, because good quarterbacks tend to get the ball out pretty quick, right?
Typically, yes.
They know their reads. They see it, and it's just that. It's out. Boom, boom. Caden clearly has to play better. I mean, this isn't breaking news right here, but a lot of that, you can look at this stat and you can go, wow, he's got such a clean pocket.
Yeah.
He's just got to do a better job, of course, decision making and just being quick in those decisions. And so you might see this time go down if that's the case.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing. So, I mean, it's still Texas, Alabama, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, USC, Arizona State, like really good teams in this top 15 here.
Name me those top 4 teams right after Colorado on that list again.
So Colorado's first, 2 is Arizona State, 3 is Ball State, 4 is Michigan State, and then USC. And then SMU's up there too, right after that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, the quarterback's just got to be more decisive.
Yep.
I think that's what got him in trouble on his first interception.
Clearly, yeah.
On Saturday against TCU. And when you sit back there and pat the football, it just gives the defense, especially guys like Bud Clark,
right,
who are watching your eyes and are instinctual football players on the side, it just gives them more time to see what you're doing and react to it. And again, when I think about back to one of the things Coach Prime said to a question I asked him after the Wyoming game was like, what was the difference in the Caden we saw in that Wyoming game as opposed to the Caden we saw in the first 2 games? And he said certainty. He said, if you're going to throw. Mm-hmm. If you're going to run. It's not, I don't know what I'm going to do. And that's what got him in trouble earlier in the year. That's what got him in trouble in Georgia Tech. I think we saw some of that even in his limited playing time or opportunities against Delaware as well. And certainly it hurt him again this past weekend against TCU as well. So that's just got to get cleaned up. And to maybe take it a step further, I think Juju is somebody who's going to get that ball out, bro.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
He going to get that ball out because that's his superpower.
Yep.
Much like Shador's.
Yep.
They're seeing pre-snap what they need to see, and if the picture changes post-snap, they're able to adjust. But if what they see pre-snap is confirmed at the snap of the ball, they're letting it fly. Yep. They're not thinking twice.
Exactly.
They're trusting their arm. They're trusting their eyes. And that's what typically the best quarterbacks do.
Facts. All right, let's take our first break, and then we'll talk defensive line and recruiting.
Shout out to the squad, our good friends over at Bet365, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. We are in the thick of football season, college football season. The NFL is on and cracking because that game on Monday night featuring the Chiefs and the Travis Hunter-led Jacksonville Jaguars was absolutely cinema. And Bet365 is the best place for you to get in on the action, especially with their early payout offer. You are a winner if your team goes up by 17 points. It's an instant payout on straight bets, and parlay selections are marked as winners. So download the app, use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, those can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Shout out to Bet365.
And a word from our friends over at Common Spirit. I mean, come on, man. Do we need any more reminders? Coach Prime goes in for surgery number 16 yesterday. Obviously, he's doing all right, bringing that, classic Coach Prime spirit to the team.
Yeah.
Use that as a reminder, man. Go get checked out. Take care of yourself. Take care of your friends, your family. You never know what's truly going on until, you go and just get the word from the doctors. Or unless you're like Coach Prime and you've been through it so much, you know what it feels like when something goes wrong.
Yeah, facts.
But don't let that become you. Make sure you're just taking care of yourself, your family, and friends. At Common Spirit Health, it's more than just hospitals and clinics. They got a team of passionate, expert caregivers dedicated to your well-being, woven into the very fabric of your community, from preventative care to advanced surgical solutions. They've got skilled physicians and caring staff. You can expect a blend of cutting-edge technology with a commitment to human kindness at their 20 hospitals and 240 clinics and care sites right here in Colorado. Again, whether it's a checkup, managing a chronic condition, or responding to an emergency, you can trust Common Spirit to deliver exceptional care close to home. Experience the difference compassion makes. Find a Common Spirit location near you and discover a new standard of health and healing by visiting mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health, the official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos.
Jalen brings up something right there. He goes, your slot have to grab attention too. I'll take Harge and Gibson, whatever he's talking about with the slot. And I just think that's an interesting thought because I kind of agree with the premise of his comment. Like, a lot of times top offenses that aren't, again, your ground and pound to the offense, that dude in the slot is usually an attention grabber or somebody who is relied upon, particularly on third downs. And I guess maybe preseason we maybe thought that would be Draylen's role. It obviously hasn't been that, and nobody has really stepped up.
Yeah.
After that, Harge has been banged up, and we haven't really seen anybody using that role. That, again, I don't want to bring up LeJontay Wester because he is just a different animal.
Yeah, he's top tier.
Exactly, and that's just somebody that you can't expect to be replicated.
They don't grow on trees.
Exactly right. But the reason I bring that up is because, and somebody mentioned earlier, they were like, it might have been Jalen as well, where he was like, this receiving core isn't as good as we thought. And I wonder how much of that is just the quarterback struggling some, right? What do you make
Guys
of
are running open downfield. I can tell you that for facts.
They are, bro. They are.
Here's the thing. I understand what he's saying, and yes, it'd be nice to have a guy like that. It hardly ever works, ever, in a season, either side of the ball, defense or offensively, that you have everything you could possibly want.
Yeah.
Like last year, you didn't have a tight end, you didn't have a running game. You had 4 great receivers, though. You had a great quarterback.
That's a good point, bro.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I understand what you're saying.
You got a running game now.
Exactly.
Right?
You have a running game.
You got to trade some stuff off.
You got more tight end presence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got a running quarterback now, too. Like, it's, I don't know.
I hear you. That's a good
understand
point.
what he's saying, but you can't have everything every single year. And so while we can look at that and go, yeah, the slot can be better, well, you know what else can be better is the quarterback, the running game, and the receivers that you do have too. So,
and we just spent the whole first segment talking about how good this offensive line is, which wasn't the case last year. So no, that's a good point.
Exactly. And plus, Harge is hurt at this
Banged
point.
up.
He didn't play last week. He was out. We'll get the injury report tonight, but the Buffs did get bad injury news last night with Tavian Coleman, who has also had surgery now. That is now the second defensive lineman to have surgery in the last 2 weeks. Gabriel Lightfoot. he's out for the year. He never even made a debut for Colorado this season with a knee injury.
Yep.
And then, Tavian Coleman, who's played really well, actually, for this team, played in all 5 games as well. So a traditional red shirt is not going to be an option for him for this season.
Damn.
What class is he? Do you know?
I think he was the end here. I think this was his last year, if I'm not mistaken. You're talking about Lightfoot, right?
Yeah.
No, he's a junior.
I'm sorry. I meant Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman is in his last year.
Yeah, Coleman's a graduate, so that's a bummer. He'd have to get a waiver.
He was good, man, too. He was kind of breaking out this past week before, obviously, the TCU game when he last played.
Yep. But the hits just keep coming on the defensive line. This is really tough right now. Obviously, Lightfoot and Coleman we just talked about. But, Amari McNeil has been popping up on the injury report. He's been playing, though. Brandon Davis-Swain has not been available. Although he may have dressed and played, I think, this last week.
I think he did.
But
yeah, BDS definitely played. But Tawfiq Thomas was out this past week.
Yep.
Samuel Okanola has just not played at all this year.
Yep.
Which is really unfortunate because I know us two, if I'm not mistaken, had him kind of penciled in as a starter.
Yeah.
If not, he was going to be a guy that they rely on. Exactly. Yeah. Very much next up. So, Anquin Barnes did not play, right, this past weekend. If I'm not mistaken, he was doubtful going into it. I'm going to double check and see if he played. But this D-line is banged up, man, and you're kind of running out of bodies. Jaheim Otis played last week, but I mentioned to you pregame, his knee was all wrapped up. He had a cast pretty much on his hand.
Yeah, he only gave you 18 snaps. I don't see Anquin Barnes having a snap last week.
Yeah, I think Anquin was out. So you're kind of running out of bodies. I mean, at this point, I think Christian Hudson's name came up yesterday by Keaton Wade.
He got 4 snaps last week. So
were those his first, I think, too, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So we're kind of at that point, man. If you're depending on true freshman Micah Hudson to just give you snaps.
Christian Hudson.
Thank you. What did I say, Micah Hudson? I think I've done that before, too, actually, before. That's rough. Especially, again, mentioned earlier in the week, Iowa State, Rocco Beck is a good quarterback, but they are going to lean on their 2 running backs.
Yep.
And those 2 guys can take over a game.
Yep.
Carson Hansen and Abu Sama are headaches to tackle. They are physical players. So this defensive line being banged up is certainly not ideal. Hopefully we can get Anquin Barnes back, maybe even Tawfiq back. We are unsure of the status.
They
of
need
their
Tawfiq
injuries,
Thomas.
Yeah, they do.
He's graded out as one of their better defensive players all season.
Yeah.
And we've heard Neely talk about what he brings to the table just in terms of that edge and everything too. I think you're missing some of that.
Yeah.
On the defensive side. A bye week is much needed, though. So good news is after this game, you do get a week to rest.
Yep.
So hopefully that means, whatever Amari's going through, he's able to completely iron that out. We don't see him on the injury report anymore. Hopefully Jaheim Otis is able to kind of really bounce back from whatever he's dealing with. I mean, I feel bad for that guy, honestly. He's had to deal with so many surgeries and injuries going back the last years plus. And then, Brandon Davis-Swain, of course, too, who's really dealt with some stuff. He did give you 53 snaps last week. Actually played pretty well if you look at the PFF stuff.
He played 53 snaps last week? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. That's a lot, bro.
That's a lot for someone who was limited all week.
Holy, wow.
So, you really don't have much more margin at this point. Otherwise, we're going to start seeing, Tyler Brown's gonna have to play defensive line or something at some point. Seriously,
ain't nobody trying to see that. But
what else are you supposed? You got to put someone out there.
I think the answer is you just got to get creative. Quincy Wiggins,
he has been playing inside. Yeah.
Alexander McPherson, move him some inside. London Mayer, move him some inside. I think that's the next step because Tyler Brown himself, I believe, is banged up. I don't even.
He is. Yeah.
He was out this past week. Yeah. Tyler Brown is, so that's the main reason why I said don't know anyone wants to see that because he is banged up himself, and to ask him to play a different position I think would be unfair. But I think that's the next step. Some of these dudes who you look at as maybe edges or you want to play as edges, Quincy Wiggins comes to mind, McPherson comes to mind. They might have to pick up some reps on the interior.
Larry, you are correct. Prime did say don't believe what you see in terms of the injury report. I mean, I wish I could tell you exactly what that means, but at least from my perspective, Caden Salter has shown up on this injury report the last 3 games, I think.
Right.
And he's always been probable until...
The only thing I can think of Coach Prime saying there is that some of these guys, not all of them, are probably redshirting.
That too.
I'm sure that's what he was kind of alluding to. But I'm looking at the list, like a lot of these guys, we know they have injuries.
Yep.
You know, like R.J. Johnston, DeKalen Taylor, Simeon, Phillip Houston, obviously, Tyler Brown. A lot of these guys, like I said, we know they have injuries and whatnot.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know about two names. Well, I guess Noah King is a name that I don't know if we know of their injury, and it seems like he's been on the injury report since.
And TJ Branch.
Yes.
So
those would be two names where I'd be like,
Yep.
Totally. I don't know about that.
Yeah, just looking through here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really. I wish I could tell you more how these things really work, but since we're in the first year of this, I think everyone's kind of figuring it out. But
yeah,
Colorado clearly hasn't shied away from loading that thing up and really just kind of covering all their bases in terms. I mean, Utah got popped for
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Play it safe.
Yeah. So
put them on their err on the side of caution.
Exactly. All right, let's take our next break. Then we'll get to recruiting and the portal and all that good stuff. Shout out Coors Light. We're going to be tailgating Saturday morning, 10 a.m., Benson Field. Come hang out with us. We're going to have some Coors Lights there on tap. Also, if you can't make it out there and you're in Denver and you still want to hang out with a bunch of Buffs fans, watch the game, come over here to the DNVR bar. You know it's always going to be a good time, and the Coors Lights will be flowing. We got it on draft. We got the silver bullets, and we got the stubby banquet bottles as well. You can also get Coors Light pretty much anywhere that where they sell beer. When the mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. So make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get it delivered straight to your door when you visit CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado beer.
And shout out to the squad, our good friends over at Game Time, man. Game Time is the place for you to buy tickets for your sporting event, your concert, your comedy show, whatever it is that has a venue. I'm sure Game Time can help you out in the best way possible. And you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even hit that purchase button. The lowest price guarantee is what Game Time is all about. If not, they will credit you 110% of the difference. And as always, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. And I think my favorite part is that you know your title up front, man. No surprise no surprise fees at checkout. Those priority fees are all included. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time, man. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem that code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it, Jake?
Game time.
Let's get it.
Z-Max asking where the tailgate is in Boulder. So it's on Benson Field, essentially south of the stadium. More directly, if it, the Buff Walk in between Franklin and Folsom Field, if you just walk straight across the street, across Colorado there, you'll basically run into Benson. You'll see a bunch of tents kind of going around. We'll be more on the west side of the field. You'll see the DNVR.
The west side, for sure. The west side, yeah.
I wasn't even looking at you to ask you. I learned this weekend that Alyssa and Scott just have no idea what directions are.
Yeah, we'll be on the south side of the stadium, guys. On that west corner, But yeah, hell yeah. Shout out JB too in the chat squad.
It really doesn't take that much effort to learn your directions. I'm just saying. No, it's not. No, you don't need the mountains. 10 a.m. Z-Mac. 10 a.m., brother.
Hell yeah. See you there,
We'll
Z-Mac.
see you there. All right. Let's talk recruiting, man. We actually have a lot to talk about. And we'll start with Kavian Bryant, the 2027 5-star quarterback. He already visited Colorado for the BYU game.
Yep.
It was an unofficial visit. He's taken quite a few unofficials But he released a top 5 yesterday or the day before? Monday?
Yesterday.
So yesterday, Kavian Bryant, top 5. Texas, Texas Tech, SMU, Florida State, and Colorado. He has also set a commitment date for November 1st.
Like 3 weeks.
That is
3.5 weeks.
3 weeks from Saturday.
Coming up soon.
Very soon. And, I mean, he's clearly interested in the Buffs. Taking an unofficial visit, that shows a certain level of interest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was very kind of involved on the field when he was there, too.
He was.
Like, there's a lot of guys who come in and visit for game days, and they're truly just taking it in, right? They're kind of hanging out. They will talk to some of the staff and all that.
Yeah.
Kavian Bryant's like getting on the field to talk to Coach Prime.
He was in the mix. Shermer as well.
Yep.
Shermer and him had a moment pregame.
He's talking to some very important people on the sidelines. So this is real. Clearly, this is going to be a tough get, and clearly, this is not the end of his recruitment, whatever happens on November 1st.
Facts.
You have a year plus after that point
until
he officially signs on the dotted line. But this guy's a bit of a phenom. From Westwood High School in Palestine, Texas. He's a 5-star on the 247 Sport Composite, the 29th overall player. He does like everything. He's a dual threat in football. He plays basketball right now.
Athlete.
Pure athlete. Also competes in track and field. This would obviously clearly be, I don't need to tell you, it's a massive get if they get him.
I mean, anytime you're the number 1 quarterback in your class, you're that guy. And you mentioned he's from the state of Texas. 3 of the schools in his top 5 are Texas schools, those being Texas, SMU, and Texas Tech. And Texas Tech is just the school, man. Anytime they're in a mix, I don't feel great about it, bro, because they got that bag behind them, bro. They got that bread coming in.
But the fact that Colorado's in it, too, is very interesting because clearly Coach Prime doesn't play that game.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
So,
I hear you on that. And it's just... money talks.
It does.
Money especially right when we are a year away from him signing on the dotted line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what all comes with a commitment a year out, right?
True.
Because I think we've talked about it. I think there are probably some places, and if there are some places like this, Texas Tech would certainly have to be one of them. Where you probably get some bread for that commitment. You know what I'm saying?
There's some states where you can set up NIL deals with high school players. Yes.
And again, I would assume Texas would probably be one of those states.
Probably, yes.
So we'll see. In either way, like you said, whatever he decides, whatever Kavian Bryant decides on November 1st, it is not an end-all, be-all decision. There will still be plenty of recruiting going on to that. He will probably still be taking plenty of visits.
Yeah, you have a year after.
So,
I mean, you're in this race early.
Yeah, exactly, which is a good thing.
That's crucial. Yep. I mean, you're clearly going to be a factor for the next year plus at this point, no matter what he decides on the 1st. Because for sure they're going to try and get him down for an official visit when it's his year, whether in the summer for another game.
Yeah.
Clearly they're going to try and recruit more 2027 kids as they go. And they have been recruiting that class pretty well so far.
Right.
So planting some seeds.
Cornholey brings up a good point that Texas Tech got a really good backup. Some think he should be the starter. A young guy, Will Hammond, and Joe McGuire did say, I think after Hammond came into that Utah game, where he was like, "Yeah, I know there's probably a lot of coaches out there who are going to try to poach my boy, but he is under a 2-year contract."
Yep.
So we'll see what ends up happening.
Texas has a bunch of guys coming in too. Diabell is a 5-star guy in this class.
He is.
Clearly Arch has a lot to work on.
For sure.
I don't think it'd be a surprise to see him come back. That pushes the whole timeline down another year. You know what I mean? Exactly. I think SMU's got a pretty big recruit that they already have coming in too. So, oh my God.
We're going to talk about this. Shout out to Brown Girl 87 in the chat. She is right, man. This man Jake had me jealous. I ain't even gonna lie. Shout out to Brown Girl. We met her at the Buffs Bash in Fort Worth.
Yep.
Gave my boy Jake a hug, and she okay, Jake, what that is? And I'm like, damn, Jake, what is that? Because I need to get it now. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get that sent. So shout out my boy. Shout out to Brown Girl.
Worry about it.
It was great meeting you. Yeah, you know what? Hey, you want to gatekeep? That's on you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I would put you on, but if you want to gatekeep, that's cool. Either way, shout out to shout out to you. It was awesome meeting you on Saturday.
Facts. Thank you, Brown Girl, for coming out. It was a lot of fun to hang out with you. Actually, shout out to everyone like that too, and shout out to the listeners too, the podcast listeners, because almost every time I meet someone at the Buffs Bash, of course, there are some people, we watch you guys all the time.
For sure.
A lot of just diehard podcast listeners who just every day.
On the way to the way home from work or whatever, or getting the house ready. Yeah, we love it.
So shout out to y'all, man. I know y'all are listening too, so we greatly appreciate it. All right, after Scott derailed the segment.
Where are we going?
We're talking about the guys visiting this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We have at least a trio of commits. Is that all you have is the 3 right now?
Yeah, that is what I've seen. 3 currently committed Colorado Buffaloes will be back in Boulder for a visit this weekend. The first one is a guy that we've talked about, I think, last week, because he's out there at the high school ranks absolutely making plays. That's Gavin Mueller. He posted a couple days ago that he's stoked to be home this weekend, which is Boulder, Colorado. Posted a pic of him with Coach Bart. Rodney Colton Jr. is back in Boulder this weekend.
Oh my God. What did you do?
Rodney Colton Jr. is back in Boulder this weekend, the 4-star linebacker commit. And then Chico, the General, his new nickname is our guy DeMonte Timms. I know, right? Chico and the General. DeMonte Timms, the 3-star Colorado safety commit, is also going to be back in Boulder for a visit this weekend. So at least 3 of those commits in your 2026 class showing love. And when you see them in Folsom Field this weekend or in Boulder this week, make sure you show them love some well.
Facts. Shout out to the student section too for whoever
I was fired
putting that stuff together, bringing the headshots of the recruits. I mean, that's got to be at least worth 5 bonus points.
That would get me.
Oh my God,
Bird! I'm dead. No, that would get me, G. If I pull up to a school as a recruit and I see a student section with a cutout of my face, G, I mean, they might have got me right there. I ain't gonna lie.
Shout out Gavin Mueller, though. I mean, this guy is really emerging as a potential 4-star. He's already a 4-star in the 247 Sport Composite now.
Yeah.
I think it was Rivals was the only, or ESPN. It was one of those two who had him as the only 4-star.
I think it was Rivals.
Either way, his consensus rating is clearly going up. DeMonte Timms is still 1,171st. Rodney Colton actually ranked behind Gavin Mueller on the composite now.
Wow.
Rodney Colton was Colorado's highest ranked commit.
For sure.
That's crazy. Final recruiting news. I believe this was on Sunday or Monday.
Go down or
Sedarian Morgan has shut down his recruitment. What do you make of that?
Alabama playing well?
They are playing pretty well, yeah.
That's what I make of that.
Okay.
Probably putting the squeeze on them and all their recruits. They're like, hey, you see we back. Mm-hmm. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gonna keep playing in our face, or you gonna come rock with us for real? And I think that's all that was, because again, he was already committed to Alabama.
Right.
What really is the incentive to announce that you're shutting down your commitment? Right. So I think that's what's going on. But we'll see. Still a lot could happen between now and signing day. Mm-hmm. And certainly if he does end up decommitting from Colorado or from Alabama, I assume Colorado would be right at the top of that list of next places he's looking at. So we'll see.
Omarion Miller had a video come out recently on Well Off, like Day in the Life, right? I don't know if you watched that.
I didn't see that.
He had a video come out, Day in the Life of Omarion Miller.
Nice.
And he was talking about how he ended up at Colorado and how important Coach Corey was to his recruitment.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was at LSU. Then he gets the call from Coach Prime to, come to Boulder and all that.
Yeah.
One of the first calls Coach Corey makes is to O, who was committed to LSU also. O follows him. Draylen's one of his Coach Corey's guys, right. Cam. And when you look at Sedarian and when he's hanging out and posting pictures, a lot of it's with Corey Phillips. So I wonder.
Sure is.
Coach Corey's kind of done this before, and it seems like this is another one of those guys from especially that south area of the country that Corey just really is drawn to, whether it's just talking as a person or as a coach. Corey just has a pull on some of those guys, and so I wonder if that relationship clearly Sedarian said it shut down, but if there's any kind of like ace in the hole for Colorado to try and pull this one out at the last minute, they've got a few things I think go in their direction. Julian Lewis, of course, too.
No doubt.
So I don't know. I'll believe it when he signs on the dotted line is what I think.
And this doesn't just go for Sedarian, but the rest of the 2026 class, and even as you start to gear up for the 2027. You got to start winning too, man. You got to start handling your business out there on the field.
Of course.
That was something we talked about a lot this offseason when people were complaining or talking about the lack of 2026 recruits. We were like, listen, games are going to be played. And if you handle your business on the field, those numbers are going to increase. The opposite is also true, right? We're sitting here week 7, halfway through the season, and Colorado's 2 wins are against Delaware and Wyoming. That doesn't exactly, give off confidence to an elite recruit who is maybe thinking about Colorado in an SEC school or another Big 12 school. You know what I'm saying? So at a certain point, it is talented and is great as Coach Corey Phillips is at what he does. Is enticing as playing for Coach Prime is.
Sure.
You got to have the results to go along with it. And that's also might be why it might be important to get Julian Lewis in there just as soon as you can. Because again, the guys that you are recruiting in the 2026 class and beyond, that's their quarterback. Julian Lewis is their quarterback. And the more that they can see him and the more that they can see him looking like the guy that a lot of people think he is, the guy that we know he is, the better.
All right, we talked about it yesterday. Do you think the plan is to kind of redshirt Julian and wait till those last 3 games? I think West Virginia's being that last one. I mean, if you ask Julian and, his camp and all that, I don't think they plan on him being in college 4+ years. But clearly, Coach has remained non-committal on playing Julian.
Yeah.
And it's just, it hasn't really, I feel like there's been so many opportunities in live games the last 2 weeks that you could have gone to Julian and they haven't. Honestly, going back to week 1, I think you've had plenty of opportunities to put him in and they haven't.
I wonder, and I had this thought recently, I wonder if the whole Ryan Staub situation is kind of making them slow to make another decision on Caden, right?
How so?
Because I don't know if they might feel like we already kind of gave him the short end of the stick once. Let's not do it again, or at least when we do it again, we got to be sure that we're not going to go back to him again.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they already kind of did a switcheroo and put him to the side and went back to him. Like, you can't really do that again. So I feel like when the decision is made to go with Juju, that has to be the decision. There's no turning back at that point. And I think they want to make sure that they get to that point. And like I said, I even said last week, I would even, as bad as Caden has looked, particularly on Saturday and even the second half of the BYU game, I still would start him this weekend, me personally. But, and again, I think that's part of the reason that they're thinking is like, listen, we can't, once we go to Juju, there's no going back.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, though, because you do have Staub. I'm not saying back to.
Okay.
Like, you still have another option in there to. And I know people may not want to hear that and whatever.
They don't.
But like, God forbid if you put Julian in there and something does go catastrophically wrong.
Right.
He's just not ready. I'm not even saying anything else happening. He's not ready.
Yeah.
You do have a guy that Coach clearly trusts in Ryan Staub that. If you had to, if Caden just doesn't, if he's just checked out at that point and it's no go to go back to Caden, you do technically have another option though.
I think that makes sense to me, but I don't know. Still, I mean, you still got what 4? You still got 6 games left, obviously.
Yeah,
and I just don't think the red shirt is a big issue here or the sticking point here because. Like I said, I don't think Juju has the plan to be in college football for 4. I don't think he cares really about burning a red shirt here.
I don't think so either.
But I think they're just trying to give Caden, in my opinion, they're trying to play Caden until the wheels fall off.
I mean, I get it.
And in some people's eyes, maybe the wheels fell off last week when he threw 3 first half interceptions against TCU. Sure. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. But again, you already played musical chairs once. And I think Coach Prime is just really reluctant to do that again until he feels his hand is forced.
This doesn't help anyone. I just really wish they gave him some actual burn against Delaware, man. You burnt a game of the red shirt. Like, if the red shirt is all a concern, like, I just don't understand why he wasn't given a second chance at all in the Delaware game. You gave him 5 plays, basically. To me, it seems like a complete wasted opportunity now, looking back, putting Juju in that game.
So Juju was the second quarterback in that Delaware game, right?
Yes.
And this is another, I feel like we need to remind ourselves what happened in that game. He played 11 plays.
Okay.
He played 11 plays. He had 2 drives. Both of them obviously ended in punts. I believe he was sacked on at least one of them.
Mm-hmm. And then he took a hit running out of bounds.
Correct. The second drive was a 3-and-out. The first drive, 8 plays, 26 yards. So pretty much I think they picked up 1 first down. And then after that, obviously, Staub comes in and does what he does right before half and into the third quarter.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess I just pushed back on the idea that, like, he wasn't really given a chance against. He was given a chance against Delaware.
He was, but like SOB Chronicles said, they didn't really play him with the ones either. Like,
no, they didn't.
It was
That's
a lot
true.
of Quanell, obviously, like, and not saying those guys are bad or anything too. It's just like, if you're gonna put him in with live bullets flying around, I'd put him in with the guys who have been battle tested as opposed to.
Yeah.
So
I think the starting offensive line was in there, but the skill guys, were young guys for sure.
Right, but I don't know. This conversation isn't going to help anyone. It's just, let's talk about the portal. Changes are coming, and they've kind of modified this a bit compared to the last time we spoke about it. Because last time I think they were proposing 10 days, right?
Yep.
But now it's going to be a 15-day portal cycle. Sorry, I lost my article. Here we go.
Facts, Larry. I agree with you.
So the portal window now is 15 days. It's going to start this offseason January 2nd to January 16th. Teams or athletes on college football playoff teams still playing would have 5 days beginning the day after the team's final game to enter the transfer portal. So those guys are still going to be given an opportunity to enter the portal, even if they make it all the way through. When's the national title even played now?
January some
20th or something though.
Yeah,
We're getting so much late into the year now. Of course, the rule remains: if a head coach is fired, the transfer portal opens immediately for that team. Wait. Oh, actually, this is a change. If a head coach is fired, the transfer portal will not open for players immediately. The NCAA announced on Tuesday that moving forward, players will only have 15 days to enter the portal after a coaching change instead of 30 days. So they've cut that window in half.
That is my issue, and that's why I'm pissed off. I'm gonna reiterate what you just said, Jake. Instead of players having a 30-day window to enter the transfer portal after their coach is fired, players have to wait until 5 days after a new head coach is hired to enter the portal.
Yeah.
That is bullshit.
Bullshit.
And that is what I was thinking about when this was being proposed about going to one window. It wasn't so much as them going to one windows, but it's just them putting restrictions on player movement and player freedom. And if you put one restriction on it, another one's going to come behind that. Another one's going to come behind that. And this is just a slippery slope of what I didn't like. That's bullshit. Your coach leaves, and now you got to sit with your, hands on your ass on your hands, waiting for a new coach to get hired when you know you're not going to stay there. That's bullshit. So you got to just waste it. And you know damn well sometimes schools take their time.
Oh, for sure.
We're gonna launch a very extensive search, a nationwide search to find a haircut. coach. That stuff can take months. Mm-hmm. And now if you're a player who knows he's leaving a program because the guy who recruited you just got fired and you leaving, you got to sit there and wait for a new coach to get hired just so you can leave. That puts you behind the 8 ball. All the time that you could be spending talking to coaches or maybe going on visits as a transfer portal player, you're stuck until your school decides to hire a new coach. That's bullshit.
So you have a point. You do have a point. But I will say, I think that we've already gone down such a slippery slope in terms of having so much with the transfer portal and player movement. You've got to put the brakes on at some point. And it of course the players are going to be the ones who pay for it. I mean,
yeah,
it's just how it works. I mean,
it's not going to be the coaches who pay for it.
Well, I mean, the players have been getting screwed in college football for 50 plus years at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not that won't change until like players formally like unionize. You know what I mean? Which at that point we're also blending the line between amateurism and professionalism so much already that would be a clear step over that line in one direction. And once that happens, I mean, you know, you can do whatever, but I don't think we're anywhere close to that at this point. Players and teams have tried to do that. I mean, was it Kane Coulter and Northwestern? And I was in college when that was going on. That was like 2012, 2013 when they were trying to do that. Nothing came out of that. So I think, again, you do have a point. Like, this sucks for the players. This is clearly a way to take advantage of the players. But the floodgates have been open for so long, and we've gotten so used to the floodgates being wide open that we have needed guardrails and restrictions in some way for the transfer portal. This is not the way I would have done it. I'll just say that. But we just can't keep this Wild West wide open thing that we've had the last 3-4 years. You can't keep going through with this, though.
It's just going to lead to more problems because somebody mentioned it too. It's just going to lead to tampering.
I mean, true.
A guy that you're not supposed to contact.
That already happens, though.
But I'm saying it's just going to lead to more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really fixing a problem. You're just you're putting a Band-Aid on one and opening up another wound. But that's what's happening here.
I mean, no one has said it directly, but like, I also do think that like a new coaching staff deserves the chance to kind of recruit their players before guys are just like, I don't care, I'm out. Like, at least hear me out. Why?
I disagree.
I think they should be able to be heard out. Like,
there's still that option for you to stay, but of course, forcing somebody to stay to see who the new coach is going to be is bullshit, bro.
I mean, again, it's 5 days though. Like, you don't even have to report to the facility. Like, if you intend on transferring, like, I'm sure you can put it out there. I intend to enter the transfer portal, you know, in the next 3 days, when my window opens.
Sure.
So,
but again, that window doesn't open until a new coach is hired.
Yes, I understand.
I just don't like it, dude.
I don't know. I get you. 100%. But like, good players are good players still. Like, no matter if a player enters it when the portal initially opens in January, if they have to wait till February 1st because that's when their team hire coach, and that's late too.
Late.
But I don't know. I respect your passion on it, though. I love that.
I just saw this yesterday, and I was like, these MFers, bro.
Well, we knew it was coming.
Like, why does that even have to be added, bro? They could have just went to the one transfer portal window and left the other stuff alone. That was my fear. It's going to be a slippery slope, bro. Again, you're putting a Band-Aid on one problem and opening up another wound, in my opinion.
Well, but that's because the floodgates were just open for so long, though. Like, there were no rules for so long that...
But, like, what's been the worst thing that's happened because of this wide open player? Like, what's the worst thing that's happened?
Well, I think we don't hear about a lot of what the worst has happened. It's the kids who get stuck in the portal who think they have a chance to, you know, maybe increase their value or go play somewhere else or follow a coach, and then they end up stuck in the portal, or worse, their college career just ends right then and there, and they've got multiple years of eligibility, whereas if they just stayed and, you know, yeah, you might have had to swallow a tough pill and take a reduced role, you still would have been on a team for the length of your scholarship. I think that we don't hear a lot about those guys, man. The kids that get stuck in the portal, and it's thousands of kids every year who get stuck in the portal, whose dream of playing college football, of playing football at all, ends, and we don't hear about them. So I don't know. It's a slippery slope any way you want to look at it. Like, it really is just a tough thing to try and get a handle on, and clearly there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of back channels that get used clearly with tampering and all that. So
yeah. Like, imagine you at North Carolina, right? Bill leave, because the season's you know,
right?
And they're like, and North Carolina's like, we're going to take our time because we are at a very important part of our football program's history, and we got to make sure we get this hire right. And you just sitting there chilling until they decided they have found the right guy. And you know the only reason you came to North Carolina was because of Bill Belichick. You're not going to stay in North Carolina no matter who they hire else because they're not Bill Belichick.
True.
You know, and I think that's one very specific and unique example of why this idea, MJ said, you're stuck. That's not, being stuck is not good by any means, whether you're stuck in the portal or stuck at a place you don't want to be.
True.
That should not be a part of the equation, in my opinion, by any means.
I'd rather be stuck on a football team than stuck in a portal, though. 100%.
If those are my two options, I agree with you, yes.
So, I don't know. I'm sure this isn't the last thing that they'll change. We're headed to overtime.
OT.
Go to the DNVR.com. We're going to wrap up the show over there. Some more, though. Graduate transfers also cannot enter the transfer portal until January 2nd with the new one-time only portal window. Graduate transfers, again, they've even more so than just the regular portal. They've had like no rules. If you graduate from a school, you can kind of just do whatever. And it has worked for CU's advantage in many cases, probably a lot more so than against them. I mean, Nikai Hill-Green is one of them who I think he committed to 2 or 3 schools that offseason. He eventually lands on Colorado, and that ends up being one of their best defensive players. But I don't know. The consistency is, they're trying to get a handle on that. So, yeah, just from the calendar's sake, the CFP semifinals are January 8th and 9th. The national title game is played on January 19th this year. So the portal window is January 2nd to 16th. So you'll see portal entries January 19th through the 23rd. It's 5 days, 23rd to 24th.
Yep.
But that's the only portal window now, basically. So
you catch that?
There it is.
Wow, it was nasty.
Damn, you a big baseball guy, bro?
It's playoffs, man. Anytime I can rule against the Cubs, you got to do it.
All right, I respect that. You got anything else?
I do not believe I have anything else. I do have one other thing, actually. This is crazy. Did you see this? That Colorado and West Virginia have not been eliminated from the number 1 seed in the Big 12 just yet. Mathematically.
That's crazy.
Isn't it? Texas Tech, Arizona State, BYU and Cincinnati are the only teams that control their destiny to the Big 12 title game right now.
Okay.
But Texas Tech has not even clinched finishing higher than last place. So technically, Texas Tech can still finish in last place in the Big 12 this season. Obviously not likely. Obviously not going to happen. But the mathematical possibilities are crazy. And we remember this. Shout out to My High Buffalo. Go Sox. Let's go. But we remember this last year, all the math you were doing with the tie
calculator.
Exactly. So, again, with 6 games still left.
Yep.
Again, I'm not saying that Colorado's going to finish with the number 1 seed in the Big 12. But there's just a lot of football to be played and a lot of crazy things that can still happen.
Well, and then I can't remember if you or RK brought this up, but someone brought it up in the chat yesterday. I mean, Baylor at this point last year was in this exact same spot.
2-4, right?
2-4.
And they won 6 in a row to finish the year.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's clearly still a lot to play for. And, you know, when we talked about Julian today and we talked about recruiting today, like, there's so much more to play for beyond just this season, too. So,
yep.
And for what it's worth, I think the Buffs can hang with Iowa State. I mean, we'll preview that game tomorrow. Yeah. We're gonna have Dre coming in and doing the show with us to preview Iowa State tomorrow. We're gonna have Know Your Enemy tomorrow too.
Yep.
But look, I think that Colorado not that different from a team than Cincinnati, and Iowa State's gonna have to go to your stadium again, just like they had to go to Cincinnati last weekend.
Yeah.
The fans got to bring it. You know, it's a 1:30 kickoff. Like,
got to turn up.
It should be beautiful weather. Like,
it's looking like it.
Folsom's got to turn up. The team's obviously got to be ready to play, and they need to kind of approach this with a different mentality, man. Really.
And you mentioned Colorado can hang with Iowa State. I mean, I completely agree. Based on just what we've seen from Iowa State this year, and Iowa State just isn't a team that, in my opinion, is going to blow anybody out. They blew out South Dakota, which is what they're supposed to do. They kind of took it to Arizona by 3 scores as well. But Arkansas State, they beat by 8 points. It was a dogfight against Iowa, their in-state rival, 3-point game. Obviously, in week 1 against K-State out there across the country was a 3-point game. Like Iowa State, but that could also present the problem because Iowa State is used to playing in close games, but winning those.
Yeah.
Colorado has been the opposite. They've been in close games and have just found ways to lose them. So this could be the turning point that the Buffs are looking for, though, right? A close game that they find a way, they figure out a way to win late. And honestly, that might be better than a 20-point win. I think you guys were talking about this maybe with the Broncos.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go.
Going into the Eagles game.
So, I mean, the Eagles are the Eagles, right? That's what they do. They grind out games.
Yeah.
It's definitely not looking pretty. It's actually very ugly a lot of the times. But they get the W at the end of the day. And the Broncos, it looks very pretty up until the end, and then they ended up just choking it away. And then, obviously, what happened Sunday happened. But I think a lot of that, sometimes when you play almost like the Goliath opponent, like the juggernaut opponent, and I'm not saying like Iowa State's like the Philadelphia Eagles, clearly, like a little bit different of a category
For sure.
for many reasons. But this is a team who's been in the Big 12 conversation for the last 3-4 years.
They were in
at the very top.
Conference championship game last year.
In the game last year, they clearly have the potential. You know, they slip up last weekend, but they clearly have the potential to represent the Big 12 in the CFP this year. I mean, this should be the one where it's like you put your foot down and go, I don't even care who we're lining up against. Like one of those type of games.
Yeah.
Just bring a little extra and from all departments. And if you do that, I mean, you know, you keep stacking a little extra on top of it, and sometimes those margins make up enough to actually beat a team like Iowa State.
I don't know if Iowa State's better than Georgia Tech. The rankings will tell you that they're not.
Facts.
I don't know if Iowa State's better than BYU. And Colorado should have won both of those games. They certainly were in both of those games. I don't see why this week at home would be any different.
Yeah.
Especially, I would say, a wounded team. We'll check out.
Right.
As much as we talk about Colorado's injuries, Iowa State is very, 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 very much banged up. And we'll see what their injury report looks like tonight and leading up to Saturday. But there's an opportunity for you to get a big win.
Yeah.
And like I was starting to say, like I would almost even take a 3-point win over a 20-point win.
Absolutely.
Just to prove to everybody in that locker room that, yes, we can win these close games, these tight games that come down to the little things, to the small margins.
Totally. So you have that to look forward to tomorrow. Let's go to the chat and let's get out of here. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate y'all. Bad Mama C asks, is Cash playing at Tech? I'd be surprised, honestly. I think he's
not
back healthy. But
he's certainly not starting. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's playing. I don't think he is, though.
Tech has, I mean, look, Colorado has a really good offensive line.
Yeah.
Tech's might be better.
Not for real.
Ron with the question, why can't we run a spy for the opposing team's quarterback in order to stop them from converting 3rd and longs every game? I mean, I don't have a real answer to that question. The way he presented it, I honestly think players just got to play better. They got to be smarter. They got to be better in positional football or situational football. Sorry.
Yeah.
Knowing down and distance, knowing, you know, teams have got us on this before. We can't allow this here.
I think you might have mentioned too. It's a problem for everybody. It's certainly a problem for Colorado these last 3 years.
Yeah.
These last 3 seasons. But it's an issue for every defense when you can go in 11 on 11 as an offense and you get your running back as a blocker and your quarterback, who is typically not involved in the run picture, as the ball carrier. That's just tough to defend. But why they don't use a spy, I don't know. That would be a question for Robert Livingston, which is somebody who we're supposed to hear from next week for the first time in over a month, which I think is interesting that we haven't heard from the coordinators in over a month. So hopefully we'll get some insights from both of them next week.
Totally. Yeah, that's as good as I can answer that question. What's up, Diallo? Is Iowa State's top 2 cornerbacks still? I believe they lost those guys for the season.
Really?
I thought so. I'm trying to look back.
That'd be news to me. I didn't.
Nope. ESPN link. Iowa State loses pair of starting cornerbacks for the season.
What?
Jontez Williams damaged his ACL, and Cooper tore his ACL.
Jeremiah Cooper?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a brutal blow.
The duo have combined for 55 starts.
I voted both of them for my preseason All Big 12 ballot. This year.
If you watch the Cincy game, they were again, they ran the ball very well, and that's what won them the game. They had some very timely big shots that
sure did.
It was pitch and catch.
We gotta see that. We gotta see the vertical shots this week, man.
Please.
We gotta see Sincere Brown return to this offensive plan.
Nope.
Amari Miller is kind of on a heater right now.
Yeah, feed that man.
feed that boy for real, man.
Hold on, go back. Pull up Smuggler's comment. Not even close. Here's the thing. I couldn't even do post-game shows on the team, basically, because there was nothing to talk about. Literally nothing to talk about.
Speak on it.
Like,
perspective.
When Owen McCown came in and he played those 4 games, it was like, we have a true freshman quarterback. He's developing here. He's exciting. He's running around.
Yeah.
He's obviously got a lot to grow on, but it was Jordan Tyson, and that was it. That's all it was. It was.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Other than talking about how bad the team was, like this isn't great, but it's not that bad. Trust me, it's not even close. No team will ever be that close to being that bad.
Yeah.
Even North Carolina right now is not that bad as that team.
It's crazy.
It's almost ridiculous, the depths of that team. All due respect.
All due respect. Thanks. Respectfully.
Debbie with the super chat. We lost 3 games. We've lost 3 games, not gotten beaten.
I agree.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, they've given away 3 games. Totally.
Threw them away. What Coach Prime said yesterday, we gift wrapped it and gave it to them.
We wrapped it, just gifted it.
Hey, hold on. What where did that comment just go?
Which one?
Are you all the way at the bottom, Alyssa? Oh, they must have deleted it. Interesting. Okay.
Also, there's not to go back to this. There's hope for the future with this team too.
Right. There was none. I'm sure there was none of that.
Especially after they fired Carl Durrell. Shout out to Coach Sanford. He did whatever he could with that team. They brought him their first win and all that. But this is just to go back to that. Coach Prime wasn't even on the radar, honestly. We laughed at the thought of it when we first talked about it, and then of course as things got more real and y'all started joining the chat and all that, it became a little different. But there were legitimate concerns about whether the team was going to hang around in the Power 4, Power 5, or even be relevant in college football moving forward. That was legitimate concerns.
I bet. Z-Max says, I remember going to those games and being able to sit anywhere I wanted to.
Yeah,
I've seen videos of people at games, and it's just it looks like there's 14 people in the stands.
Bro. I used to be able to find RK from the press box. Not even using the Knox, not even using the binoculars.
That is crazy, man. That is crazy.
Is that it? Alrighty, chat. We'll be back tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Dre's going to help us preview Iowa State. We're going to make picks. We'll get RK's picks from across the pond, all that good stuff. We'll see y'all then. Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.